Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I actually have an oil filter off a Jeep that went 20,000 miles over on an oil change. Didn't seem to have any damage or anything, but I wanted to open it up. I just wanted to see what a 20,000 mile oil filter looked like. And then I have the oil filter out of Rob. Now Rob is the owner of the shop. I work at Milex in Durham. It's Milex Complete Car Care / Mr. Transmission. We pretty much do everything here. Anyway, so Rob has a BMW track car, and I showed you that before. It's like, for like road racing and stuff like that. Nothing spectacular. It's it's like a BMW, whatever it is, series with an inline 6, 5-speed. It's a fun track car. I guess he runs or he used to run like the Lemons races, and now they do like endurance type races and stuff like that. So anyway, he had it in the shop for regular service. And when he went to go change the filter, now that has a canister style filter where it has like a filter media that you stick inside a housing, not like a spin-on cartridge. When they went to go change the oil, they noticed like a flick or like speckles of metallic stuff in there, and they're like, uh-oh, something's going wrong here. So they pulled the filter out completely, and they took a sample of the oil, and sure enough, there was metal filings in there, a little bit of glitter. All right, what's that from? Obviously, there's something catastrophic going wrong, but the car was running fine, didn't make any noise. So he's like, we're gonna have to investigate this. So looking at everything, they figured, okay, it's probably rod bearings, very possible. I think the car's got like 188,000 miles on it. It was just a regular street car that they converted to a track car. That's what most people do. So I was like, you know what, let me look at that filter. It's been a while since I've done anything with oil filters, and let me do that, and let me take a look at it. I want to open it up. I want to see what it actually looks like. The funny thing is, when I decided to do that, like a couple days later, I have the filter right here in front of me. A couple days later, I was home on a computer, and this was maybe a month ago, because it was just before my computer, actually a little over a month ago, just before my computer went poop. I just got a new one, so I'm still in the process of learning it, setting it up, the whole 9 yards. I'm not computer savvy, so it takes me a while. So I haven't been able to answer emails, nothing, for about 6 weeks. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so, squirrel. So I happened to be online, and I was like, I wanted to Google my name because I'm trying to set up a website, Wrenching with Kenny. And I was able to get that name. But when I was out there looking up that name, I came across somebody, I don't know who they are, don't really care, but I came across somebody that basically was making fun of my video. I guess they have a website, they specialize in like oil and filters and stuff like that, and I guess they're experts on it. And as you've heard me say in the past, I'm no expert. I'll never claim to be an expert on anything like that. Mechanically either. I'm good at what I do. That's all I'll tell you, is I'm good at what I do. I've been doing it for 40 years. I know a thing or two. So I'm not going to sit there and say, specifically this, that, the other thing. So I was reading through it, and he was basically saying stuff about my knowledge in regards to the oil filter, and like, how the spring at the end, how I think it's a blow-off valve or something like that. In case the filter gets plugged, it'll help push it away. And like, ha, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm like, who gets that specific? I don't care. Whoever you are, don't care. Hopefully you're watching this video. Don't care. Anyway, so let's get into this filter. So here it is. I already cut it open. Obviously it's a cartridge that sits like this, and this filter media wraps around it. So we're going to open this up. We're going to look at it. What I wanted to show you is it was rod bearings. Look how wiped out. Let's see if I can get some light on this. See that? That's a wiped out rod bearing. So is that one. So is that one. This one ain't too bad. And you're starting to show signs of wear. But you got to remember something. That's a lot of mileage on that motor. There's that Jeep filter that I'm going to open up. All I did was cut it. I haven't done anything to it yet. So let me set you up in my tripod here, and let's take a look and see what we got going on. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this thing out. This should be the inside of the filter here. which makes this the outside, and this is where I believe the oil passes through on this side, and yes. Okay, let me focus in a little bit on this. If you look closely, you could see some of the flecks. See it in there? You could just see the light catching it. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, see it right there. So all of that is bearing material. Oh, there's a couple of good pieces right there. But now you got to remember something. This oil gets changed all the time. I'm pretty sure after every race they do with it, they change the oil. Because they want to inspect for stuff like this. Just to see if they got an issue happening. And obviously, they had an issue happening. So, good thing they caught that. Because catching that early caught a catastrophic failure. Catastrophic failure could have ruined many other pieces of the car. I still got you in a tripod, that's why I kind of look off here. You're looking up my nose. Let's look at the other filter now. All right, so we'll move this off to the side. Now this filter, like I said, came off a Jeep 4-liter, and this is the wrong filter too. This is, yes, it worked, it's not a problem, but it wasn't the correct filter for the car technically. So now, there's a bunch of mud and muck in there. Not too worried about that. But here is the filter media itself. And it looks pretty, look at the oil itself. That's pretty nasty stuff. This is the spring I was talking about that, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what it's for. Don't really care. I thought it was for if the filter gets plugged up, it'll blow the filter, the pressure buildup will allow this to push past and allow the oil to basically bypass the filter. Okay, that's what I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe that is what it does. I'm just misquoting what it's called. So let's cut this open, and all I'm going to do is take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to start cutting it like this. Okay, so let me get in there and let me do all of this. You don't have to watch that whole thing, but that's what I'm going to do. All right, so now this is the outside of the filter. This is the whole filter just disassembled right there. I basically just ripped it apart. So this is the outside portion of it. This is where the oil comes in. And now, let's see this, let's see. But there is like a nasty sludge buildup of gook on there. So this filter was borderline plugged. I'm surprised it wasn't plugged up completely. And when they plug up completely, the media usually will collapse on itself and stuff like that, get completely distorted. But this is pretty nasty. Let me clean off the X-Acto knife here for a second. I mean, there you see the sludge and nastiness. It's pretty gross. You can see heavy chunks. Like, I can actually pick it off with a knife. That's how heavy some of this stuff is to build. Oh, see this one? Look at this. Look at the pleats. I'm not cutting into the material itself. I'm just cutting the sludge off of it. I can even use the backside and just scrape it off. See that? So it's, yeah, this thing was pretty well plugged up. Luckily, they didn't have any engine problems, which actually kind of surprises me. Hold on, my fingers are absolutely coated in oil now. But yeah, if you look to the inside now, the inside, see how it actually looks relatively nice? That's because that's the filtered side. So oil nastiness going through, I mean, look at that, that's gross. And the filtered oil coming out this side. A little bit longer, and I got a funny feeling they would be eating a motor. So it's always good to change your oil. Now, here, look at the difference. Look at the difference between an oil filter that goes a long period of time and an oil filter that gets changed often. It's basically just tinted the actual material of the filter, because the filter itself on these things is a brownish color. So basically all it did was tint it. So, I mean, the filter's doing its job. So, all right, let's wrap this up. So there you go, 20K on an oil change, not cool. And you can use an oil filter to actually diagnose how your engine's doing. If you think you may have something going wrong with the motor, it may not hurt to take the filter out and open it up and take a look at it. Obviously, if you have a cartridge style, it's much easier to do. If you have a spin-on type filter, then you're gonna have to cut it open. But anyway, that's it. So hopefully you got something out of the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. If you look down in the description, what I'll do is the tool that I actually use to cut the filter open, I'll put a link to that, because I've actually found it pretty handy. I don't remember what it cost me, like 30 bucks maybe, if I'm not mistaken. And it works quite well. This is it right here. It works quite well. So I'm happy with it. I think it was well worth the money. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description. If you could, just click on it. I'm not asking you to buy anything, but clicks do help. And like I said, I'm trying to build up a website, get that done. So at least this way I have it. And then I'll put links on there to different things that I use personally. So anyway, that's about it. All right, guys. Hopefully you got something out of that. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.